We like to have art in most workspaces where you're going to find our teams. So we want them to be inspired by their surroundings. We want the art to be thought-provoking and help them problem solve and look at the world a little bit different. So it's all over. Yeah, we have thousands of pieces in our inventory, hundreds kind of in storage right now. Mark Frary put out a great report about how supporting the arts can then stimulate the economy. I mean, when you have events like this, when you have art fairs, people come from far away, they stay at the hotels, right? They go to the gas stations, the restaurants, so it's an important element to our livelihood. And we want to see our local artists continue to flourish. We like to really immerse ourselves in the art, in the community through the arts. We hold artist-led workshops. We try to sponsor cool initiatives to support the arts. I think, that's another way to tell the Promega story. So ultimately, that's how it impacts the community, is we're able to show and tell our story of how much creativity means to us, and in turn, there will be more awareness about Promega. Science and art go hand in hand. I mean, a lot of artists have their work and their process down to a science, and scientists, a lot of their work requires creativity. So it makes sense for a biotech company to value creativity and really to support their employees through the arts. We have so many artists among Promega employees. I mentioned the employee art show, but we even have some pieces from employees in our collection, which we're really, really just happy to celebrate. And it's interesting to see how many scientists are artists.
I think Stefan, being a European, art I think had a greater place in life than it did here. There was already great art available for them to look at, and they went to museums, and that was part of their culture. He was interested in art from a very young age, and that's what started him collecting. As you know, art is a visual language. So it can be pretty addicting to continually look for the new idea, the art that you really love, like, well, that person is great. That was just such a great idea. Well, I think that his interests in artists and their careers also was important to him. So he was more than willing to share his collection. He really wanted to support artists, to support their careers, and make sure that their art was shown in a good space. I love the collection too, and I love most of the art, because there are certain pieces that in the collection that I don't see where they came from. Now, I used to tease Stefan and say that I was going to put black velvet paintings in his collection after he died. As I go about donating, certain museums will want to collect certain things. They'll want to fill in their collections or are inspired by certain artists. Sometimes it's what the curators, when you donate things, it has to go through an acquisition committee. So they have to want the piece also. So it'll be a little bit of work sometimes to find a home for certain pieces, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I started there in April 1st, 1996. He had passed away the September prior. But one of my first projects there, there was a big memorial in the gallery at the Erdman offices. And one of my first projects there was to take all of that information that was the whole history of the company and of Marshall Erdman, and to consolidate it down into a number of smaller collage pieces that could actually travel to all the regional offices. So I took the opportunity at that time to really just delve into all the literature and really learn about the man and the firm, and what his inspirations were, his work with Frank Lloyd Wright, how he built schools and homes around Wisconsin, and then the medical building art program. There's actually a story where Marshall said, buy the art collection and I'll build a building for you. That's how much he supported it. I learned that he was a risk taker because many of the pieces that were in the collection challenged people, right? So he wanted to get away from the banal artwork, and I often find that in healthcare, it's a given. Oh, we want the landscapes. But what I learned from the art that I saw in those spaces, in the offices at Marshall Erdman, and in the collection that had amassed, when I started working there was close to 6,000 pieces in that collection itself, was that challenging people and giving them something to think about while they're in these healthcare settings is really going to provide much more stimulation and respite from why they're there versus just another beautiful picture. It also showed me that diversity was important, that there's going to be everything from those non-objective abstracts to realistic landscapes and figurative works and textile pieces and everything in between to really bring a wonderful depth to a collection. You may not love every piece that's in the collection, but there's going to be something there for everybody.